Guests on Keel heard via the Jack Spring Electric Keel Newsmaker hotline. The latest of those is Sheriff Jayson Richardson from DeSoto Parish. Hey, Mr. Jayson, welcome back to Keel. How you doing today?
Good morning, Robert. Doing great.
You know, it's just a beautiful day, beautiful Sunday, 65, 70 degrees. Maybe you're sitting on the patio, minding your own business, watching a little football, who knows?
And then the little green men come flying over.
And then all of a sudden, your cell phone starts to blow up. Am I right so far?
You're pretty close. I did start receiving a couple of phone calls as well as some calls from our on-duty guys, and obviously the public were calling. And it wasn't just a huge amount of calls, but it was certainly enough that to raise some suspicion. So I actually did walk outside and was able to see what they were talking about. And we were able to put in a couple of phone calls. And
I was just going to say, when you were the sheriff of DeSoto Parish and the phone starts ringing, and basically the crux, the thrust of the calls is, we think we see some spaceships. What
Right.
is your SOP in that sort of situation?
We put in the phone call to the guys who may know that whether they are spaceships or not.
Are we allowed to know who that is, or
yeah,
is it
who are those
Is it
guys?
a secret number?
Yeah, we normally start with FAA, and then of course there's Barksdale because of the area that we're in, and many times that's where we get our answer from. Is from Barksdale, and they were able to answer that question last night.
Okay, and their answer was?
It was military. They didn't tell us exactly what type of equipment, but it was military equipment flying towards Houston in formation.
Okay, that sounds unusual. They're flying so low.
Well, not necessarily. Wait, just a
to
second.
alarm everyone.
Well, and having seen it myself, I can tell you it wasn't as low as some people reported. It was probably 2,500 feet or so. It wasn't treetop height, but I can tell you it was moving extremely slow. I was able to see it for probably the better part of 10 minutes. But
folks are saying it was helicopters. Could you hear anything?
I could not hear anything with it. But by the time I saw it, the distance that it was at, I probably wouldn't have been able to hear it anyway.
When you call that secret number to Barksdale or whoever it is, to the president or whoever, are they usually so vague? I know I'm being kind of tongue in cheek, but do they? We can't give too many details, but you don't have to worry.
Not normally. Normally they're pretty straightforward, and they were last night. They just said it was a military aircraft. Again, we didn't pry. We didn't have a need to. But as long as they knew what it was and they were okay with it, then of course I was okay with it as well.
Okay, Jayson Richardson, Sheriff in DeSoto Parish. You know you're going to get them on the phone. They're not going to tell you we're tracking UFOs.
Oh, no, they probably wouldn't. But like I say, I don't know that it was being they were all flashing the normal green signal that aircraft have to utilize. I don't know that had it been UFOs, I'm not certain they would have been using our normal flight equipment to notify everybody that they were, for safety reasons, not to run into them.
It's not really ever surprising the conclusions people will jump to when something like this happens, is there?
Oh, absolutely not. It run a gamut last night. It was kind of entertaining watching Facebook last night with everything that we were seeing on Facebook.
Okay, give me some samples of the calls you got, the stuff you saw on social media. What were the weirdest ones?
Oh, well, some of them were saying that they were flying at treetop height, that that it was, of course, that it was silent, that you couldn't see, had to be UFOs. Just the gamut like that. It was anything you could imagine. That was where people were headed. But most, in all honesty, most people were fairly reasonable that were talking about it, particularly once we said that it was military equipment.
Okay, we were told that they were helicopters that maybe actually had to refuel in Webster Parish and then were back up on their way, and that's why they could be seen over the metro like they were.
It's very, very possible, and that would explain why they were moving as slow as they were. I did, having friends in all different locations. Someone north of Monroe had seen them, earlier, and then of course someone in Minden had posted them as well. So we know they traveled quite a distance.
And yet, there's going to be people today who are just not. They're not going to buy it at all, are they? It's all a cover up, and you're part of the big umbrella plot, aren't you?
Absolutely. And I'm not going to try to convince them any different.
The poll is up at 710keel.com. What were the lights in the sky over the Arklatex? About 50-50 say military planes, and the other 50% say they don't know. They're unsure. So we don't have any UFO votes yet.
Jayson, Richardson, DeSoto Parish Sheriff. Great stuff as always, sir. Thank you for your time. And if you're going through the woods and you come across some pods, give us a call, would you?
Yeah, please.
We'll certainly do it. Y'all have a great morning.
Take care,
Thank
Sheriff.
you, Jayson.